In this video, I'm going to show how to assemble different components of the impeller. While the NX file is open, click on New, set the units to inches, select Assembly as your environment, and here for the name, type Impeller Assembly. Set the location where you want to save your file. I have already created this folder on the remote desktop, and I'm going to save my file here. Click OK, OK. Now we are directed to the assembly environment. Close this dialog box, and here go to Assemblies from the resource bar. The first command is Add Component. We're going to use this several times. Click Add Component, and in this dialog box we need to insert the components one by one. Click on this open folder. Here I have already downloaded different components, different models that I have for the impeller from the model page. So I have a bolt, an impeller, a lower casing, a nut, a shaft, and an upper casing. Click on lower casing, click OK, and here the component is added here. Click on Move, because for the first component we're not going to add any constraint for now. Click Apply. This message is asking for fixing this component, but it is not needed yet. Click No and close. So you don't need to close this dialog box. I'm going to add the other component now. So click on this open icon, select the upper casing, OK. This time I'm going to add a constraint. So activate constraint, and here for the dialog, point dialog, click on point dialog, and the coordinates would be 0 for X, 35 inches for Y, and 0 for Z coordinates. Click OK, and here you can see that the upper casing is added to the assembly environment. Now the constraint. These are the list of constraints that can be applied between the elements of an assembly to set the position of those elements with respect to each other. So the first one is touch align, and this is frequently used in assembly environment. Activate touch align, and here between the options select prefer touch. Now this command is asking for two objects. So the first object is this face here. The second one is this face here. So this blue line is showing the constraints that is applied here, but two more constraints are needed to be applied between these two components until they are completely assembled. So this time I would again use touch align, prefer touch, and for the object I would select the face of the flange from this casing. I would rotate the model and select the face of the flange in the other face, in the other casing. Now reverse the direction and then apply. So here I have these two casing partially assembled. Now the last constraint that I'm going to apply is, so you can close this dialog box and then assembly constraints. Again, touch align, prefer touch, and then the two objects. For these two objects I would select this face here and this face here. And now they are completely assembled. Click apply and then close the dialog box. Now here you can right click and orient your view to isometric. So I would add the impeller now. Select the impeller. Okay. Location of the impeller, we can set it again to 35 for the y coordinate, 0 for x, 0 for z coordinate. Click OK. And now for the constraint, I'm going to use concentric constraint. Now I need to select two circles here and make them concentric. So as I rotate my model, I can select this circle here and this circle here. And now the impeller is located inside the casing. Close the dialog box for add component. So I needed to click on apply, which I didn't, so I would do this again. Add component. Select the impeller. Set the location to 0, 35, 0. And now concentric constraint. Select this circle and this circle and then apply. Now I'm going to add the shafts. So open the folder, select the shaft, OK. And for this one, I'm going to apply this constraint, touch align, with the option of infer center or axis. Now if I select so here the shaft is added here. If I select the face of the shaft here and then the inner face of this impeller and reverse the direction, the shaft will be added inside the impeller. Apply and close the dialog box. Now I can move this shaft to make sure that it is positioned in the right location. So click on move component, select the shaft, and then for the orientation I would move it in Z direction. Click apply. Close the dialog box. So to make sure that this shaft is located correctly, I'm going to add another constraint. Touch align and prefer touch. So this time I would select this face here. And this inner face here. Click apply and close the dialog box. Now if I go to the isometric view, this is what I have, and the location of the position of the shaft is now correct. Now I'm going to add the bolts and nuts. So add component, open the folder, bolt, OK. For the location, again 35 for y-axis and 0, 0 for x and z coordinates. Click OK. Here, if you rotate the model, you can see that the bolt has been added here. Again, I would select Touch Align, and here infer center or axis. While this Select to Object command is activated, I would select the face of the bolt and then the inner face of this hole. Then I need to reverse it. No, again reverse it. So the bolt is here and I just need to move it. So apply it here, close the dialog box. Again, I'm going to move it, click on Move Component. Select the component. Specify orientation, and I'm going to move it in Z direction. Then apply, cancel, and now I'm going to add another constraint. Assembly constraint, touch align, prefer touch, and this time I'm going to select this bottom face of the bolt, cap of the bolt, and then again rotate it. And select this face here. So the bolt is added. Close, apply, and then close the dialog box. Add another component. Again, I would select the bolt, OK, and here I would select 35 for the y coordinates, 0 for x, 0 for z, and then OK. This time I'm going to add this constraint. Now if you rotate the model, for the objects, now I'm going to select this circle here, rotate the object, and this circle here. So this bolt is also assembled. Now click Apply, close the dialog box, add component, again the bolt, OK, with the same constraint. So here again 35, OK, again I would select this circle here, rotate the model, and this circle here. Click Apply, the last bolt. This time I would set the y coordinate as negative 35 inches. 0 for x, 0 for z, click OK. So here's the bolt. If you rotate the model, you would be able to select this circle here. Now again, I need to rotate it. Now select this circle. So the fourth bolt is also added. Click Apply and close the dialog box. Set the orientation of your view to isometric. Add component. Select the knot. OK. Here again, concentric constraint. Activate this command here. And here for the location 30 for the y coordinates, 0 for x, 0 for z, click OK. So here is the knot, and now I'm going to apply this concentric constraint. So while this select two objects is activated, select this circle here, and this circle here. So the knot is added to this bolt here. Now again, add another knot, click OK. Location 30 for y, 0 for x, 0 for z, click OK. So as I didn't click on apply, that's why this bolt has been moved out from this location. So I'm going to apply the constraints once more. As this command is activated, select this circle here and this circle here. And if it happens, reverse the direction. Click Apply. Another knot, click on knot, OK. Concentric constraint, set the location to 30, 0, 30, 0, click OK. The knot is here, concentric constraint, so select this circle, and this circle here, and then you need to reverse it. Click Apply, rotate the model, add another knot, click OK. For the location, set 0, 30, 0 for x, negative 30 for y, and 0 for z. Click OK. So here's the knot. I'm going to apply the constraint. So concentric constraint. As this command is activated, select this circle here. Rotate the model, and then select this circle on the bolt. Click Apply. add another knot, click OK. For the location, again 0, -30, 0, click OK, and then click on Fit to see where the knot is located. Apply this concentric constraint, so select this circle on the knot and this circle on the bolt, and reverse the direction of the constraint and then apply. Close this dialog box. So all the components are now assembled. Right click here, orient your view to isometric, and now I'm going to explode this assembly. Click on New Explosion, and here type the name Explosion of Impeller. Click OK. So here you need to click on Auto Explode. Now this dialog box is asking for selecting the object, so create a rectangle about the whole assembly and then click OK. Now this dialog box is asking for the distance. I would type 10 inches, click OK. Now they are 10 inches apart. Usually you need to edit your explosion, so click on Edit Explosion. The first command is asking for the object, so select this one and then move the object in Z direction. Now close this dialog box. Again, Edit Explosion. This time select the impeller and move it in X direction. So here for the bolts and nuts, again close this dialog box, again Edit Explosion, select the bolt, move it in Z direction, apply, select the other bolt and move it, this time I would select both of these bolts and move them in Z direction, apply, again Edit Explosion, select the nuts, remove the nuts. Apply and then close the dialog box. Go to the isometric view, and now your assembly is exploded. This exploded view helps you to understand what are the exact components of the assembly and where they should be located inside the assembly. You can also unexplode. Here you need to select all the objects, and then OK. And they are back together again.